all, and welcome back to the New Testament Bible study that we do each week with a Jewish lens. I'm Beth Shulam, and thank you for watching. Today we're taking a look together at Hebrews chapter 3, verses 7 through 19. And like last week's, this passage echoes a warning from Israel's journey in the wilderness, but speaks directly to us today. If you've ever felt spiritually dry or discouraged or disconnected from the voice of God, this message is for you. So let's dig into Hebrews chapter 3, starting at verse 7. The Hebrew writer says, "Therefore, as the Holy Spirit says, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion, as on the day of testing in the wilderness. When your ancestors put me to the test, though they had seen my works for 40 years, therefore I was angry with that generation, and I said, they always go astray in their hearts, and they have not known my ways. As in my anger I swore, they will not enter my rest. Take care, brothers and sisters, that none of you may have an evil, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But exhort one another every day, as long as it's called today, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partners of Yeshua, if only we hold our first confidence firm to the end, as it says, Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion." Now, who were they who heard and yet were rebellious? Was it not those who left Egypt under the leadership of Moses, but with whom he was angry 40 years? Was it not those who sinned, whose bodies fell in the wilderness? And to whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest, if not to those who were disobedient? So we see that they were unable to enter because of unbelief. The writer of Hebrews here is quoting Psalms chapter 95, or Psalms 95, which reflects on the time Israel tested God in the wilderness, even after being delivered from Egypt. And the key word that jumps out is today. Today, if you hear his voice, not yesterday, not someday, but right now. God is still speaking. The question is, are we listening, or have our hearts grown numb? This isn't a retelling of Israelites' rebellion. It's about resistance. When God calls, do we lean in, or do we delay our actions? Now, what does it mean here when he says they harden their hearts? In Hebrew, there's a term called lev kashe, a hard or stubborn heart. It's what Pharaoh had, and it's what Israel battled through the wilderness. But this hardening isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's really slow. It may look like turning out those whispers from the Spirit, from God himself. It may look like holding on to bitterness, or letting fear keep you from being obedient. The heart in Jewish thought is the center of decision making. A hardened heart is one that stops trusting and starts resisting. In verse 13 here in Hebrews, it says, "Exhort one another daily, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin." What we see from that statement is we need a community. We need to be accountable. And it's deeply messianic in spirit. You see, in Jewish life, you don't walk alone. They're a covenant people, and they're meant to watch over each other. And we as believers in Yeshua, we take on that covenantal spirit. We need to watch out for each other. Encouragement isn't just kind gestures and being a nice person. It's really a spiritual discipline. We help each other stay sensitive to God's voice. We call each other back from the edge. So ask yourself, who's checking in on your heart? Whose heart are you helping to guard? In verse 19, it says the Israelites couldn't enter the promised land because of their unbelief. And that's an interesting phrase because they believed that God existed. They saw it. They saw the miracles. But they didn't trust Him enough to obey. Unbelief here in Hebrews 3 isn't like the concept of atheism, where they don't believe in any higher power. It's a lack of trust in action. It looks like letting your fear override your faith, which the Israelites did. They want to stay where it's safe instead of going where God leads. They surely did that. They were always saying they wish they went back to Egypt. It's delaying obedience until it's more convenient. Yeshua calls us to faith that walks forward, always moving ahead, striving ahead, even when the path that we're going in seems unclear. In verse 14 here of Hebrews chapter 3, it says, "We have become partners of Yeshua, if only we hold first to our confidence firm to the end." Faith is a journey. Like Israel in the wilderness, we're walking through a promised rest. Or not through it, we're walking towards it, moving forward, like I said earlier. The destination will be wonderful and beautiful, but the road can be hazardous and wearying and tiring. So, how do we hold on to that faith? How do we keep moving forward? We stay close to Yeshua. We encourage each other along the way. Each of us is walking by ourselves in that forward motion, but we're also walking together in sequence. It's like watching a marching band move forward, all moving at the same time, in the same direction, but we're all individuals moving along as well. We must remember what God has done for us personally. Don't let your first love, your first passion fade away. Nourish it, guard it, live in it. So, here's an invitation straight from Hebrews chapter 3. Today, right now, if you hear His voice, don't harden your hearts. Don't push things out. Don't ignore things. You don't need to have all the answers to have a journey towards God in faith. You just need to respond. You need to listen. You need to act on what you hear. God isn't asking for perfection. He's asking for you to trust Him. So here's my challenge for you this week. Take 5 minutes each day, maybe at the time that you pray, and ask God, is there anywhere my heart has grown hard? And also, reach out and encourage someone's faith. Not tomorrow, but right now. He says, therefore, as the Holy Spirit says, today, if you hear His voice. So if there's something that the Spirit is whispering into your ears, somebody He's wanting you to talk to, Go ahead and do it. And remember, it says, as long as it's still right now today, there's grace and hope and a time to return to the path that you were walking forward. And that's wonderful. If I've stirred something in you today, then like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can hear more, and share it with others. If you share it with others, we can grow a community of people who want to be a part of the body of Yeshua. And let me know in the comments down below what helps you keep your heart soft and responsive to God's whispers. Until next time, shalom, y'all. And may your today, right now, be full of God's voice and filled with His mercy and peace. Shalom, y'all. Bye.
קומי אורי, כי בא אורך, וכבוד אדוני עלייך זרח. קומי אורי, כי בא אורך, וכבוד אדוני עלייך זרח.